YouTubes. What up, Bear Nation? It is I, the Bear of BearIndependent.com. They also call me the Oso Independiente, which is like 40% of all the Espanol that I know. But that's okay, I'll go with it. I'm on my way to the feed store to buy feed. Yes, good job. Good job. Y'all are great. Clap it up. All right. And, you know, it got me thinking. It always does get me thinking. Hey, put these shades on. Thank you, the brother who sent me these. These are awesome. These are the Oakley gas cans, and dude, they're tight. Very contractor-y. The DOD loves these. And so, I'm on my way to the feed store, and I'm like, yeah, man, sustainable homesteading. Yup, working towards that. Yup. Pain in the ass. Yup. And what am I getting at the feed store? Precisely. I'm getting sweet feed, which for the first time ever in this area was sold out. And I'm hoping that they have more in stock. Now, is it a fluke? Maybe. But I'm also getting lots of emails from lots of people taking pictures of signs that are hanging on shelves in their grocery stores saying, sorry, due to an availability issue, we're no longer able to fully stock this shelf, or something to that effect. And so, I don't know, but noticing corn prices are going up. I've got prosperity clients that I am having to bring wheat in from 2 states away. 2 states away. Because there is none in this region. Yeah. So what am I getting? I'm getting sweet feed and oil. And oil. Getting motor oil for this truck that I'm driving right now. I need to get some bar oil for the various chainsaws strategically emplaced around the homestead knife hand. I have plenty of 2-cycle oil, but just like oil, it comes down to I'm buying food and oil. Animal food, but oil. And it's like, man, those 2 things are very much so pillars of our modern society. Food's an obvious one. Food is a pillar of all societies. You have no food, you have no people. You have no people, you have no society. So, food's gigantic. But oil, in today's day and age, just simple things, man. Like, if you run out of motor oil for your vehicle, even if, let's just say it's, there isn't an EMP, or you've protected your vehicle with an EMP shield, or whatever, right? Your vehicle still works after SHTF. Cool. For how long? You've got fuel, but do you have oil? Right? And then next from there, do you have oil filters? This truck has an oil leak. It's not bad, but it has an oil leak. And it's leaking in between. It's a bolt-on where the oil filter goes on this motor. It bolts onto the side of the engine block. And there's a gasket in between the oil filter housing and the engine block. And that's where it's weeping from. It's not like a leak, but it's weeping. Well, that's enough to take your vehicle out of service, an SHTF, or you're using that oil that sooner or later would have to be replaced, right? Well, Bear, we could scavenge more from all the vehicles that no longer run around us. Yes, you could, and now you're making what could be a perfectly good vehicle inoperable just by taking the motor oil out of it. So it's like, and I'm not saying I have an answer to these things, because I don't, but I'm on my way to the feed store to take my fiat currency and trade it for my food and oil. And I think that's pretty common, illustrative of how our modern society works. And you could make the argument, man, yeah, that's good. And it is good. I'm doing it, aren't I? I mean, it's certainly... Oh, crap. There went my coffee cup. Oh, no! Never a dull moment around here. Good, I only lost 2/3 of it. This too shall pass. Here lies coffee, spilled the morning of, doesn't matter. Cheers, y'all. We got a turtle with a death wish in the middle of the road. All kinds of things going on this morning. All right. Going to the feed store is much easier, my labor-wise, than going out to the hayfield with a scythe and cutting food for my sheep. And we are going to fence that field, I think. Man, I haven't made up my mind. I don't know if it's better to leave that field, and I'm literally doing the math on it. I don't know if it's better to leave that field in hay and put grazers on it, or if it's better, and I don't like ruining a perfectly good hay plot, but I could cut it, till it, and then row crop it with food for me and my family. It's a big piece. It'd be well over an acre of garden, but it's like, man, I can't find time to weed the garden I got. What makes me think I'm gonna weed an acre and a half garden? I'm not. It just sounds nice, and it's a lot of effort for what? You know, could I do that? Yeah, absolutely. Should I? I really don't know. In fact, I've got half of mine, frankly, to hire a farmhand at this point, just to do all the things, the little tiny things that are slipping through the cracks with all these different businesses and the homestead and everything that's going on. It's like, I need a kid to just weed eat, for real. You know, I could keep a 18 to 24-year-old young man busy with a weed eater for at least one day a week, just weed eating. So anyway, oil and feed. Yep. We did a video a while ago, the SHTF Homestead's dirty little secret or something like that. And it's the feed store, man. It's the feed store. I'm gonna buy stock in the feed store because at least I'll get some return on my investment. I can't believe I fumbled my coffee. Gosh. I don't even feel like an American anymore. It's a shame. So I would just simply ask you guys, what, if any, plans do you have for when you need oil, you need feed? You know, what are your long-term plans for just such a thing on your homestead, in your neck of the woods, in your position? You know, and again, I don't have all the answers. We are working towards this sustainable homestead. I want it to be self-sustaining. I believe it's really important that it is self-sustaining. But it takes a heck of a lot of work to get there, man. It takes a lot of work, a lot of planning, a lot of intentionality. It doesn't just happen. That's one of the things that I've been trying to convey to you guys and girls out there on the other side of the iPhone, is that if your plan is after the balloon goes up, then you're going to plant a garden, then you're going to get good at livestock, then you're going to, really start banging it out as far as agriculture goes, that's not a good plan, because the learning curve is steep. I was on the phone with somebody recently who's been homesteading for 6 years. Consistently 6 years of living the lifestyle, and they're like, we're still learning every day, and there's so much that we don't know, and the systems that we tend to put in place today are still dependent upon the system, the big system, right? My agricultural systems right now require the inputs of the big S system. I'm driving to the feed store right now. What would I do without the feed store? Well, I'd have to figure it out. But that could literally be me cutting areas of my land with a scythe and hauling it in a wheelbarrow or something back to the holding pen for my sheep. Which my sheep are on pasture, but they do, or pasture, the best pasture that I have, really, but they do such a good job of keeping it mowed down. And really, there's increased pressure on that pasture because the carrying capacity of the pen on pasture is 5 sheep, and there are 8 sheep in it right now. So, you know, that's too many sheep for the pasture to support, which is why food has to be brought in. Make more pasture, T. On it. Working on it. It's coming. It's coming. But it's one of 1,000 other things that have to get done. Not an excuse, it's a fact. So I just wanted to put a little bug in your ear, give you something to think about. Let it bounce around inside your brain like it's bouncing around in mine, that if you woke up tomorrow and there was no feed store, there was no system, what would you do? I mean, I think I'm gonna literally right now, instead of buying oil in a quart, I'm gonna buy oil in a 5-gallon bucket, because praise the Father, I got a couple bucks that I can do that with. And I'm gonna buy a bunch of feed too, because I always buy a bunch of feed because I'm a prepper, right? Having extra is good. And then I really, really, really need to get more forage fenced where it's safe for my little sheepies to go eat it. Yeah. You know, and just to be completely frank with you guys, I am still at the point in my life where, like, I think twice about a $20 bill. A $50 bill, that's a real expenditure to me. You know, I'm not, by the hand of the Father, I'm not starving to death, but I'm not rich either. I'm not rich either. And I think long and hard before I spend money, and I spend money strategically, right? I look at everything as an investment. Like, how am I going to make this dollar work for me? And if the short answer is, I don't know, then I try not to spend that dollar. So I see a lot of it as investing. It's investing in infrastructure. It's investing in systems. It's investing in our way of life, our preparedness lifestyle, and the future that we are hoping to create together. And so, you know, please don't misunderstand me. Like, I'm not stoked about having to buy a 5-gallon bucket of oil, because I know what the price tag looks like on one of those. But I'm stoked that the Father has blessed me to the point that there's a little bit of wiggle room in my budget that I can do that. And, you know, I still think long and hard about, do I really want to throw 20 bucks at that? Do I really want to throw 50 bucks at that? I'm like, man, if it's over 100 bucks, it's family meeting time. You know what I mean? So, the Father is good. We've got everything we need and most of what we want, and we certainly have no reason to complain. So, just some thoughts this morning. Oil and feed. What are you gonna do? I don't know. Working on it. Shalom, Bear Nation. Click the baby bear, click the subscribe bell, do the things, hit the things with the thumb things and the other things, and you guys know what to do. You guys are the best. You are tremendous. Believe me. Have you seen this Burger King over here? Mexico paid for that. It's the best. Everybody tells me it's the best. Melania, believe me. There's 100,000 sealed indictments on the nuggets in that Burger King right now.